In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. According to the Bible, God created our universe in 6 days. On the fourth day, God created our sun, our moon, and the other planets of our solar system. Then it says, He made the stars also. Is this true history? Is this how our universe came to be? According to secular scientists, the answer is no. Most secular astronomers believe that the heavenly bodies formed by gradual natural processes over billions of years. They say that this idea is scientifically sound, that it's based on solid scientific principles, that it matches all the evidence. But this isn't true. In this video, you'll discover how the universe proclaims the glory of its creator as we explore its stars and galaxies.
To order this DVD, visit us at creationstore.org.
Hey guys, Eric Hovind here with CreationToday.org. We had the privilege of having Spike Psarris on the show. He's a mathematician that did lots of work for the military, and he's an engineer who now uses his knowledge and his abilities to proclaim the truth of our Creator, Jesus Christ. And this is an extended interview. If you missed the episode where we got to interview Spike, please go back to the Creation Today show and check that out. I just want to kind of continue the conversation though. Spike, thanks for hanging out with me a little bit longer here. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Mathematics is, to some people, so complicated. Once you get past algebra, it's like, you know what, forget it. Now, my dad taught high school math and science and physics, and so he was always teaching that to us. So I don't know if that just helped that side of our brain develop a little bit better or what, but I love the study of mathematics and all the tricks and nuances and things you can discover about our world in the world of math. Mm-hmm. All right, I just want to listen to you. Just keep teaching here. I love this stuff.
Yeah, well, I think part of the problem is people don't go far enough into mathematics to really get to appreciate it. The earliest stages is arithmetic, and you're memorizing multiplication tables, and algebra, you're memorizing these formulas. And it's a grind, it's hard work. And so people, remember it that way. Once you get beyond calculus and you start applying it in physics and everything else, then you start to see the beauty and the elegance of what's really going on here. And I think it's a shame that most people don't get far enough into it to really get to appreciate the beauty of it. And
wow,
I think part of the problem is that people teach it wrong. It's taught just as this, rote series of things to memorize. And of course, who would like that? I wouldn't. Didn't.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't either. But when you start looking at things like what's it called, the Pythagorean Theorem and the different things in our universe, and I'm blown away by the fact that I can look at a plant right here in front of me and know that how much mathematics is taking place inside that plant in my own body. What all?
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's completely amazing.
You start seeing things differently.
Mathematics as a field, even the history of it, I think is an argument that it's created by God and not something that man made up. And I'm hoping the viewers of this have already seen the first part of the interview we did, because that'll, we're building on what was said already. But taking it further, if you look at the history of math, the Greeks invented geometry, but the geometry we learn in school isn't quite the way they thought of it. They were drawing circles and triangles in the sand and trying to, figure out how they all interacted with each other. Elsewhere in the world, and a bit later, you had some Arabs who developed what we now think of as algebra. Now, initially, those were two completely separate things. And think about it, they seem to have nothing to do with each other. But as both of those disciplines, as both of those areas of thought were extended, it was found, especially united by René Descartes, that those are just two parts of a much broader, overarching whole. And the same has been true in a lot of other areas of mathematics, too. People discover something and they think it's completely independent, but as it's explored further, it merges into this broader thing. There have been some quote-unquote pure mathematicians, i.e. people who work with mathematics with no application whatsoever. There have been some pure mathematicians who were actually proud of the fact that they were developing math, or so they thought, that didn't have anything to do with anything. It was just some intellectual thing they were making up. But then later on, as people built on their work, they discovered, no, that merges back into the broader area as well. There was one guy, I forget his name, specifically said, I think it might have been Hardy, specifically was proud of the fact that his whole career he had never done anything useful. This is what he said. But today there's some important work in medicine that's actually built on his work.
So you
So-
discover that mathematics is an entire ecosystem, an entire language that spans the universe.
Right. Now, is it going to do that if it's just a form of human creative expression, quote unquote? If it's all just poetry that different people are writing,
Great point.
why will we expect it all to be completely self-consistent? Assuming it's done correctly, of course. I mean, you can write an equation that's wrong, but assuming you're building on current mathematics, we always find that if it's done correctly, it's always part of this overarching reality, this overarching whole.
All right, so do you have to go past calculus into physics to really understand the world, to see it, to be able to use mathematics in a way that says, hey guys, God made the world?
No, I don't think so. In our previous interview there, we talked about Maxwell's equations.
Yeah.
I like showing that one because even though the math on that one's very intimidating, I mean, most people look at those and have no idea what they're talking about. Well, you don't have to. All you have to understand is that these are mathematical equations that accurately describe how a part of physics works. And I think once you understand that physics is based on mathematics, then all the rest will follow. And there's even been some secular thinkers that have wrestled with this. For example, there was a nuclear physicist named Eugene Wigner, who, by the way, won the Nobel Prize. He published a famous article called The Unreasonable Effectiveness of Mathematics in the Natural Sciences. And this is part of his article. He says, the miracle of the appropriateness of the language of mathematics for the formulation of the laws of physics is a wonderful gift which we neither understand nor deserve. The enormous usefulness of mathematics in the natural sciences is something bordering on the mysterious, and there's no rational explanation for it, unquote. Well, There's a perfectly rational explanation for it if you believe the Bible.
Right.
But if you deny that the Bible is true, then this is where you wind up. Mathematics works, and it works describing the universe, but there's no rational explanation. Another secular author wrote this: though devoid of truth, mathematics has given man miraculous power over nature. And he says this is the greatest paradox in human thought. But wait a minute here. If mathematics is devoid of truth, then mathematical equations are devoid of truth, which follows. But the laws of physics are expressed as mathematical equations. So they must be devoid of truth too, right? But if the laws of physics are the foundation of science, so if you say that they're devoid of truth, you've just denied all of science in one fell swoop. I mean, bang, you're dead, right?
Wow.
But that's the logical outcome of atheism, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
So I like to say, if physics works, if science is a valid way of discovering the truth about the universe, then mathematics must be real. And that means there is a creator who created mathematics, not us, but a creator who's outside of the created universe, who's transcendent to space and time, a brilliant mind whose intelligence is far beyond ours, who has created this wonderful system, this wonderful universe for us to explore and discover, and through it to appreciate his glory.
Wow. Beautifully put. If you didn't catch all of that, rewind it, play that again. That was beautifully put. Okay, let me ask you, here's kind of the way I've phrased it many times. I've said, without the universal, immaterial, and unchanging God of the Bible, you cannot have universal, immaterial, unchanging laws of mathematics.
Right.
Is that a good way to kind of...
Sure.
It's similar to exactly what you were just saying. I mean, I think
it's actually inconsistent to do so, because I like to ask people this. Talking to an atheist, you say, well, where did the universe come from? And he'll tell you the Big Bang.
Right.
What caused the Big Bang? Well, if he knows the Big Bang model, he'll have to say nothing, because the Big Bang created space and time. Space-time is, intertwined according to relativity. So if it created space, it had to create time also. Therefore, there was no time before the Big Bang. Therefore, there could be no cause for the Big Bang, right? Because there was no time. Cause has to come before its effect, and there was no time before.
Yep.
There was no then, as someone put it. So the Big Bang, it just happened. Just no cause for it. And again, if you understand the Big Bang model, and you read many secular authors on this, they'll say, yes, that's true. Well, if you believe that the entire universe originated in this event for which there was no reason, just a random chance, what right do you have to expect the universe to operate strictly according to consistent laws of physics afterward? Are you being consistent with your naturalism and atheism, or are you being inconsistent? I would say if the universe was founded, if it originated in a random chance event, then there's no reason to expect it to work according to laws of physics afterward.
Wow.
But mathematics and laws of physics, if they're real, when I assert that they are, then that would indicate there's a creator who made it all.
Man, for all the math geeks out there, I hope you guys are catching on. And if you're not a math geek, seriously, it really is that simplicity of mathematics is a foundational piece. Without math, you don't have physics, you don't have science. You can't have anything without math. And math is dependent on the immaterial creator, the lawgiver of the universe. And so,
absolutely,
truly, without the lawgiver, without God, you don't have math. Without math, you don't have physics. Without physics, you don't have science. You're done if you don't have that.
Absolutely.
So really, you must start with God. Now, what about all those atheists out there who say, hey, Spike, I am like you say you used to be. I'm an atheist, and I do math all the time, and I don't need God. That's
because you're not being a consistent atheist.
Boom. That was nice and simple.
Yeah, there's many scientists that are atheists, and many of them are very good scientists. But they're doing good science in spite of their atheism, not consistently with it.
Wow. There you heard it. Hey, you've got some great DVDs, creationastronomy.com. Tell me real quick about, I've seen one of them. I don't think I've seen both of them. You were going into, man, this is a number of years ago. I'm pulling it back now. You were going into some fascinating talk. First of all, you had some great video illustrations and things like that you had going on. Tell us about the astronomy DVD that you did, and then what's your other one?
Well, both of my current DVDs are on astronomy. Volume 1, okay, I think, is the one you saw on the solar system.
Yes.
It goes planet by planet through the solar system, discussing each planet and a lot of their moons, too, actually. Each one discredits the current secular model for its origins in a different way. So I think it's a lot of fun. And yeah, they are very visual. The way I look at it, I said, I can show pictures of the most beautiful things God has made. And, you know, who wants to see me on there as a talking head? Nobody. Maybe my mother. That's about it. So there's as little talking going on as possible, at least visually. And it's just full of photographs and animations and graphics and movies of planets, moons, and that sort of thing. The second volume is on stars and galaxies with the same sort of approach, showing here's how the secular people try to account for the origins of these. And here's why, from their own words, their own journals, their own articles, here's why their models don't work.
Wow.
Volume 3, which is currently in production, will be about the broadest topic in astronomy of all, which is the universe, and shows how the Big Bang model, again, is logically inconsistent with itself, and building on even some of the concepts that we talked about in our interview here today. So that's currently in production. It may be out by the time this interview airs, I'm not sure. But either way, it'll be available on creationastronomy.com when it's finished.
Very encouraging. Thank you for the work that you do to just proclaim God's truth. It continually surprises me that you have to make a DVD saying, hey, everybody, no, they got it wrong. God really did make this. I'm going, why do we have to tell everybody, God, isn't this pretty obvious? But we still have to do it. So thank you for doing it with excellence. We certainly appreciate that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me on.
My pleasure.
My privilege.
Hey, God bless. Hey, you guys make sure and go check out creationastronomy.com. Link will be below. And encourage Spike, get his material and spread it out to others so that they can learn these truths. I'm telling you, we're living in a world that's going downhill fast because they're rejecting the authority of God and His Word. And guys like Spike want to bring people right back to that authority. And we here at Creation Today want to do the same thing. Such a privilege to partner with Spike. I want you to get a hold of that material as well. Watch it, equip your kids. If you don't have kids, get some, make some, do something. Teach the next generation the truth, all right? God bless.